Hello, folks. I am I'm back here and apparently creating an echo of myself. But such is life. Just getting things set up so that they are ready to go. Sorry about that. Of course, I, don't always realize that whether things are or are not ready. Okay. I think I'm actually ready to go now. I think. So we are back in the land of Scarlet Hollow. Last time I used my canonical run of Mystic Booksmart to do episode 4, and I'm actually redoing that run. You can see here my name spelled backwards. I finished chapter 3 with that, so I'm going to be redoing chapter 4 of that at some point soon. But I want to do a different setup for the things this time. So I'm looking for where I put I have a spreadsheet. Of course, I have a spreadsheet. I'm me. So I have a spreadsheet with all the different characters that I've been doing. So this one has done chapter 3. Oh, sorry, chapter 4 done. Chapter 4. And we're going to color coding, obviously. So the other characters I have who have done chapter 3 are, I have a Booksmart Street Smart character, a mystical Talk to Animals character, and a mystical Powerful Build character. And I think, well, let's see where we are. So T'Pow is Booksmart and Street Smart, Animal is Mystic and Talk to Animals, and Max Power is Mystical and Powerful. So we've got let's see. So we've got T'Pow. So we've got Max Power Wednesday chapter end. We've got Manimal Wednesday chapter end. And we've got T'Pow Wednesday chapter end. So I think that's it. So Booksmart, Street Smart. Well, you know what? Let's do that one. Booksmart, Street Smart seems like a good idea. Did we load it? Or did I just override it? I think I just overwrote it, which is not what I want to do. Yes, I want to load that. Okay. I don't think I want the recap. We remember what happened in the first 3 episodes, right? I think we do. I really truly think we do. So let's get ourselves going there and kind of see where we end up. Also, what are I really need to change my tags. I totally have terrible tags going. Edit stream info. We are not farming. This is horror. This is visual novel. This is content warning. Yeah, that seems legit and appropriate, right? As those things go. Yeah. All right, folks. Let's Let's get this party going. So, no recap. We just finished 3, which this is our Booksmart and Street Smart character. So, we also got rid of the ghost, but Street Smart hasn't come up as a good end yet, or like a key chapter. So, last night seems so far away. You can almost pretend the horrors you witnessed in the annex were nothing but a nightmare chased away by the harsh morning light. An involuntary shudder runs down your spine, but your thoughts are interrupted by the buzz of your phone on a nightstand. Hope you made it home okay. I haven't heard from Stella since last night. How about you? You check your messages. There's nothing from Stella. I think this was the one when I was trying to romance Kanika, maybe? Haven't heard from her either. That's not good. I think we should try looking for her. Let's meet up in town. Looks like you have your morning plans in order. Let's check the closet. Did that doll move? There's no denying it. The doll moved at some point since your most recent visit. But your long-dead relative's creepy doll isn't the only thing that's different. Someone was in here. Something to mull over for the rest of the day. Let's take a shower. And you step into the guest bathroom and into the shower. It feels good to wash away the grime of last night's haunting, but eventually you'll have to leave this place and confront the rest of the day. In the meantime, let's Chapter 4 is the one where we get to actually like lock in a romance. So we're going to think about Kanika, the resident goth and one of the most level-headed and fashionable people in town. You're done here. You turn off the faucet and dry yourself off. I guess it's time to head downstairs and face our cousin. You find her in the kitchen, her shoulder hunched in a tight ball of anxiety. They're striking. This week, of all weeks. As if I didn't have enough on my plate already. Street Smart. There's an almost cool confidence in the way your cousin talks about the strike. They're in disarray. And if history is anything to go off of here, it almost doesn't matter how strong the strike seems. This is Tabitha's battle to lose. There isn't a union in Scarlet Hollow, which means your cousin can do pretty much whatever she wants. She could fire everyone and wait them out, for instance, or pick and choose her targets. Like she told you yesterday, she owns most of the houses in town, after all. There's a lot of ways she can apply pressure to resolve the strike. Have you heard anything from Stella? Kanika can't get a hold of her. No, but that's not exactly newsworthy. I'm sure she's just processing what happened last night. We weren't the only ones who were traumatized. It feels good, doesn't it, getting rid of something our family left behind like that? Sure, but you did most of the heavy lifting. So ghosts are real. I still can't get over that. I can. But does that actually change about anything? I still have a mind to run, and you still have a funeral to attend. Okay, Tabitha, you're so pragmatic. If the mine's in trouble, you should just sell it and sell the estate. Get out while you still can. Tabitha bristles. I'm not giving up like that. This is the Scarlet Mine. I'm not just going to cash out on our family's legacy. I'm bringing the mine back to life, one way or another. You seem confident about the strike. What have you got planned? If I'm being honest, I'd rather you didn't know. I can handle it on my own. There's no need for you to get your hands dirty by involving yourself. You don't have to know the things I do to keep this town running. Ooh. Do you know what the strikers even want? I haven't seen a list of demands. I'm sure it's just the usual. I promise you that if any one of them were in my shoes for a month, they'd be singing a different tune. Want me to infiltrate the strike? Even if they didn't already know you're my cousin, that seems like a great way to throw gasoline on a fire. This is my problem to fix. Your only job is to stay safe until the funeral is over. You risked your life to pull those kids out of the mine the other day. They should get off your back. You were the one who made us go after them, but I guess no one really knows that outside of the two of us and that Rosalina girl. Maybe it's an angle worth leaning on. I don't know. You probably should get going, right? Yeah. I've dawdled long enough. Stay safe. No more hijinks. But let me know if you get into trouble, okay? Tabitha slips past you, her heavy boots thudding down the hall as she marches away to face her employees. Time to figure out the rest of your day. Okay, well, I guess we'll make a peanut butter sandwich. If Stella's missing in action, who knows when you'll get a chance to eat. You make yourself a PB&J in anticipation for the long day ahead of you. And that's that. It's time to head to town. You head to the front door and begin your trek to the town below. Ooh, ditchlings are like out. The sun shines down through a thin layer of clouds, illuminating the path in a watery gray light. You can't help but feel countless eyes watching you from the tree line, a feeling that reminds you of your time in the woods with Stella. Ditchlings shouldn't be out in the middle of the day, though. They're getting bolder. To your surprise, you find a familiar face making its way up the path towards you. Hey, I was just coming up to see you. Hope you were able to get some sleep after everything that happened last night. I was up most of the night, totally wired on adrenaline. Have you heard anything from Stella? I haven't heard from her, though we don't text much, and I haven't checked with Winnie to see if she came in for an early breakfast or anything. But if you haven't heard from her, that doesn't sound great. Seeing her like that last night was awful. She's usually so unflappable. You don't have to put on a front. Last night was a lot. I get it. I appreciate the concern, but I'm all right. You're talking to an expert at vibing. I know most folks would probably be freaked out or having some kind of existential crisis, but that's not how I deal with heavy stuff. Surprisingly enough, Avery's mostly telling the truth. They're fine. I mean, I'm not 100% chill today, I'll admit it. I feel kind of bruised, both physically and spiritually, if that makes sense. But that's just part of life, right? Nobody makes it to the end completely unscathed, and I'm glad my new emotional baggage comes from a ghost instead of some boring normal trauma. The supernatural angle takes the edge off a little bit. I don't want to flirt with you. Kanik and I are meeting up to look for Stella. Want to come? Absolutely. I told Winnie I'd be coming in late today, so I've got time. Don't know how much time, though. From what I saw this morning, the diner is hopping. It's absolutely packed with miners. They must be using it as home base for the strike. Oh, by the way, there's a strike going on. I'm sure you already know that, though. I have to imagine Tabitha would have told you this morning. Yeah, let's head to town. Yeah, good idea. You and Avery start back down the path to town. It isn't long until you once again find yourself on the main street of Scarlet Hollow. Pow, you made it! And you picked up an Avery along the way. Hope you're both doing okay, like, emotionally. Yeah, I'm not too bad. That's good. I feel like I got crushed by a steamroller or something. Joints all out of whack, totally exhausted and super foggy. Mom has been insisting I caught a cold, and I wasn't buying it, but as of this morning, I've come around. It's definitely something beyond exhaustion, even considering the ridiculously stressful week we've all had. But I'm not going to let that stop me from looking for Stella. Do you still think there could be a rational explanation for all of this? Kanika sighs heavily. Rational? Sure. Rooted in the reality that until a few days ago I thought was devoid of all magic and supernatural shit? No. Ghosts are real. They can suck you into illusory dimensions and puppet your body like a fleshy marionette. Next thing you know, we'll find out there's a secret society of warlocks running the country, or that angels are real. You gotta admit, it's kind of thrilling, isn't it? Anything could be possible. Who knows what the new day holds for all of us? It will be a little bit more thrilling if it weren't terrifying. All the magical stuff we've found so far just wants to hurt us. We need a magical being that's on our side. Where are the magical girls when you need them? Maybe one of us will discover our magical potential soon. That'd be neat. I hope so. This town is getting to be way too much for normal humans to handle. Hey, Limbo. Thank you for lurking. We are exploring Chapter 4 with Keen Eye and Booksmart this time. My money is on T'Pow. It's only when she showed up that all this stuff really kicked off. That seems like magic material. Or maybe your mom. She's kind of witchy. Nah, she's more a new agey crystals and herbs kind of lady, not straight up magic. If magic is real, I don't see why it would be stored in a bunch of rocks, no matter how colorful. But what do I know? I thought ghosts weren't real until one grabbed me by the bones. I was kind of surprised you reached out to me after all the issues between you and Tabitha. I care more about finding Stella than I do about the ongoing feud between me and your cousin. And I'm not going out there alone, because the last thing I want to do is to go missing while looking for someone who went missing. We do everything in groups from now on. People shouldn't be judged by their family anyway. Whatever people may think of your cousin has got nothing to do with you. Let's not forget that Wayne threatened her last night. You don't think he actually followed through on that, do you? I've been trying not to think about it. Does anyone know what happened to that guy? Some kind of accident or something? Mom says he's sick, and I don't doubt that he is, but with all the weird magic stuff going on, I'm starting to wonder if it's a normal illness or something else. Okay, let's get started. I don't want to waste another minute. Where to first? So we've got Stella's house, the cops, Oscar's, the diner, the mines, the church. Oh, we can get rid of Avery. I think I want to get rid of Avery. Let's see. Okay. I think, yeah. Avery, maybe you could keep an eye on the diner. So many people go through there. Someone is bound to have seen Stella. You make a good point. I'll be bummed to miss out if you all wind up finding another weird out there, but keeping an eye on the community hub is probably a good idea, and I'm happy to do my part. Let me know when you find her. Until then, I'll keep my eyes and ears open. Avery turns and walks off. That was a little weird, but Avery's a little weird. I guess it's just the two of us then. I want to flirt with you, but I will do that later. Okay, let's go to Stella's house. Definitely. I probably should have done that before getting you to come all the way down here, but to be honest, I was scared of wandering off by myself, just in case I ran into any other horror from beyond the veil. It'd be great if this turned out to be nothing and she's just asleep in bed. Yeah, it would be a short chapter if that was the case. You make your way towards Stella's house. Kanika knocks anxiously on the door. It creaks open. It doesn't look like a break-in. It looks like somebody left the door open. Stella or someone else was in a hurry when they left. I'm not from around here. Is it normal for people to leave their doors open like that? Unlocked? Yes. Hanging open? No way. That isn't normal. We should go in, right? Well, let's just enter. You take a step forward and cross the threshold into Stella's house. The living room is almost exactly as you saw it the other day. Whatever happened to Stella, it doesn't look like it happened here. Okay, nothing unusual so far. This is a perfectly normal living room. No blood or viscera, Not even a tipped over lamp. That's good. Let's investigate the kitchen first. Stella's kitchen is slightly messy. A couple of cabinets are hanging open, and a loaf of bread sits on the counter by a used butter knife. Looks normal to me. Stella's house has always felt a little sterile to me. This feels a little too lived in, if that makes sense. Though maybe that's just because I've only ever been over when she was already expecting me. Let's look at her room. You make your way down the hall to where you assume to be Stella's room. She's not here. Though it's a little untidy, it's the usual sort of untidiness that accumulates when someone doesn't often have guests in their bedroom. There aren't any signs of violence. You go to check Stella's computer. I'm not sure we should be snooping on her computer. Isn't that an invasion of privacy? Kanika, what if there's a clue and we miss it? What if we don't find Stella and it's all because we didn't snoop on her computer? Sure, snoop away, but I'm not taking part in this. I'll just be over here, standing in the corner of the room, not looking over your shoulder. Let me know if you find anything. Stella's desktop is horrifically cluttered. There are simply too many files and folders to fit on her monitor, and they overlap each other in a chaotic, multi-layered display. I don't know what I expected to see here, but it definitely wasn't this. How does she even get anything done? You spent plenty of time with computers and are more than capable of sifting through the chaos of a messy desktop. One folder catches your eye. Boring tax stuff. You're no fool. You've seen this folder before. You have this folder on your own computer. Boring tax stuff never contains boring tax stuff. For that matter, it never contains anything related to taxes, and its contents are never boring. You know, I feel like I'm living my life wrong. I don't have a folder called boring tax stuff. I do have a folder called tax stuff, and it's full of tax things. So, yeah. Well, let's look at it. Oh, yeah. You open the folder. You're surprised to find it contains a carefully mapped out diagram of the Scarlet Hollow mines, including holes in fences and areas with low visibility. There's also a handful of old photos of Stella and Tabitha together as teenagers. Tabitha bears an uncharacteristic grin, an authentic joyful smile, and Stella's eyes are somehow brighter, less tired. Both of them seem to be living in a happier time. Let's look at her search history. You check Stella's search history. She hasn't visited any websites since Tuesday night. If she came home after last night's incident, she didn't touch her browser. Her search history is almost entirely work-related. Fury's series of queries for various monsters and cryptids that might fit the profile of ditchlings. And that's that. Okay. It would take you all day to count the number of open tabs in Stella's browser. So numerous are her tabs that you can't see a single icon. A sea of rounded, featureless triangles from Windows edge to Windows edge. Her most recently opened tab is a post on Uncle Carl's Bigfoot Farm, a forum for cryptozoology enthusiasts. You've visited Uncle Carl's Bigfoot Farm in the past. Despite the name, and despite the fact that posters call themselves Carl's Big Feet, the community takes itself very seriously, and it's one of the more consistently active cryptid boards on the web. The post in question is titled "Something Big is Happening in Scarlet Hollow," posted by Hidden Appalachia. Hey everyone! Was out chasing a skunk ape sighting the other day, and I found these weird little guys. My friend's mom says there's something called ditchlings, but I've never heard of them before. Anyone have any good leads? Camera isn't shaky enough. This is totally staged. Clean footage and some sort of cryptid nobody has heard of except for your friend's mom. The only thing I'm seeing when I Google ditchlings is some city in England. Thought you were legit. Guys, since when did high quality footage count as anything other than actual evidence? Those things are terrifying. Since every low-budget horror movie started doing guerrilla marketing, I smell an ARG. I'm serious. I've got a ton of extra footage. Look at this nest. They've been doing something to the animals in town, and they're apparently some sort of bad omen, like Mothman. Okay, I'm listening. I love me a Mothman. I believe you. Ugh, Lucky, you're falling right into her lap. I don't trust YouTubers. They're entertainers, not scientists. The thread continues into the next day. Hey, okay, so 1, this isn't an ARG. I would never. And 2, you're not going to believe this, but we went into an abandoned mine last night to investigate things. And I'm pretty sure we found some Tommyknockers. Listen to this knocking we managed to catch on tape. There's a link to an audio file titled Tommyknockers Are Real, .wave. Just because you put the word real in your file name doesn't mean they're real. 2 supernatural events on back-to-back nights? This is so fake. I can't believe I bought into that River Runner hype. You're so full of it. YouTubers are always going to be selling out to big indie horror. This is kidnapped by aliens all over again. Also, lol, doughy white things and now loud popping noises. This is definitely an ARG. Did you sell out to Pillsbury? Stop cyberbullying her. I'm going to call the mods. Locking this thread and giving everyone a 7-day ban. No cyberbullying and no self-promo. The thread ends. Okay, I think we've seen enough. Thank God. I don't think there's any clues here. I don't think so either. This is what her room's been like for pretty much the entire time I've known her. The only thing that's changed is the computer getting a lot fancier. Aw, she still does the corkboard with string things. She loves putting the strings on there. I don't think they actually mean anything, but they're more for decoration anyway. Okay, I don't think we're going to find much else here. Let's move on. Okay, so she's not here, and we still have no idea where she is. I thought I was overreacting this morning. I thought she would just be sleeping in or something. I can't believe she's actually missing. Where to next? We should go to the cops, right? That's not a terrible idea. I'm sure they won't be much help, but we are dealing with a missing person, and that's cop stuff. Hopefully they don't give you a hard time. They've really been on your ass. Oh yeah, we've got all the cops here. The police station is exactly what you would expect from a town the size of Scarlet Hollow. It smells strongly of coffee and faintly of aged furniture and paper, and the general tidiness speaks of a department that doesn't get much of anything done. Also, I am freezing. I am going to go and get my hoodie and put it on because it is really cold. Or I am really cold anyway. Alright, that's the hood. This thing is giant, so pardon me while I attempt to figure out where the heck my sleeves are. Okay, here's my first. Oh my giant blanket sweater thing is in fact giant. Ah. Yuck. I am now going to be so incredibly very warm. So very warm. Oh my god. Ah, so warm. This is the best thing I ever bought. Like, I got it like a year ago because Limbo recommended it, and it is amazing. Okay. Alright, so department doesn't get much of anything done. But you're also not alone here. You enter to find a worried Beau standing between you and the officers behind the desk. Let me get this straight. You're trying to report a missing pumpkin? Big Betty wasn't just a pumpkin, Sheriff Huggleby, sir. She was going to be a prize winner. Raising her was the last thing me and my daddy did together. She's important to me. Are you sure it was Julius and not some enterprising bear that got a hold of it? Y'all know Julius thinks that land belongs to him. He probably thought Big Betty was his to take. He ain't coming to his door, so for all I know, he might be all the way to the state fair by now with our pumpkin. Ain't there something y'all can do about it? I'm afraid we'll need at least some kind of evidence to go on before we can go barging into a man's home, son. Why don't you see if you can find something a little more solid for us to go on? Then we can see about helping you out. Well, let's be street smart about it, I guess. Listen up, boys. We've got a missing person on our hands. Stella hasn't been seen since yesterday. The front door of her house was left open. The place was a mess. Oh, so you think you're leading an investigation, do you? Coming in here like you have some kind of authority? Well, then why don't you march on out and dig up some clues if you think you're such a big shot? Are you serious? This is your job. Our job is keeping the peace around here, not meddling in other people's private lives. That's right. It ain't our job to babysit anybody. If Stella wants to run off into the woods, that's none of our business. She'll turn up. She always does. Bo, did you manage to find your dad? I wasn't aware you knew about Duke's hunting accident. Not many people do. Are you hiding something? Bo's stoic expression breaks, and for a moment you can almost see tears forming in his eyes, but he blinks them away. No, I ain't found him. Had to stop looking so I could stay home and guard the farm. There are more of those things every minute, seems like. Do you think they'll go back where they came from soon? I'm personally doing everything I can to send them packing. I'll do my part to help. I'll kick in as many of those nasty little faces as I can, but I don't know how many I can send scampering off. Seems like there's no end to those critters. What's all this about a pumpkin? Seems Bo here has misplaced a considerably large pumpkin. Have you all heard a word I said? I didn't misplace Big Betty. She was stolen. And I know who done it. So I'd appreciate it if y'all would give Mr. Tremaine a visit and set things straight. And I'm telling you, we can't barge into your neighbor's house just because you want us to. I remember this, that Tremaines and the Callaways split some land between them after a rift in the family, right? They just couldn't get along with our side of the family. They made up a whole new property line and decided anything that grew on their side of it belonged to them, and they didn't let us Callaways touch none of it. All this happened generations ago, but they kept it up all this time. Neither one of them wants to be the one to finally bury the hatchet. I would try if he wasn't such an angry man. I can abide by living next to somebody you ain't friends with, but stealing just for the sake of it is low. What makes you think Mr. Tremaine stole it? Buck in the wasp's nest, pal. There's 100 years of history here. He's been claiming Big Betty was his since day one on account of he thinks it was planted in his side of the property. Callaways and Tremaines have been at this a long time. They can never agree on whose land is whose. This ain't the first time we've heard something like this, and we got our fair share of calls from Julius Tremaine, too. Why is this pumpkin so valuable? Me and my daddy put a lot of work into that pumpkin. She was near 2,000 pounds. Guaranteed blue ribbon. Naturally, our first question is how an old man like Julius Tremaine manages to move a pumpkin that size. Makes the whole story just a little difficult to believe. I don't know how Julius managed it, but I know it must have been him. He ain't ever come into his door to answer for what he'd done. At the very least, he could give me seeds from what's left of her. Raising her was the last thing Daddy and me did together. How do you even move a 2,000-pound pumpkin? I don't know how he did it, but he did it. You, sure it wasn't a bear? Weren't no bear. We're hunting folks, we know the signs. This was a man's work, and that means it was Mr. Tremaine. He knew just what to do to hurt our family. Classic Southern family dispute. I don't think I much appreciate you saying that. Made me feel a little small. Sorry, Bo. I don't think Bo means it like that. She probably just didn't know what to say. Kanika shoots you a quick glare, a warning not to pursue this topic any further. You know, Earl, it sounds like Bo has a real case here. It's not just two neighbors getting angry at each other. Property's been stolen. Couldn't you get involved on his behalf just this once, after everything he's been through? You've lived here your whole life, Miss Forsyth. You know this ain't the first time a Calloway accused a Tremaine of theft, and you know it ain't gonna be the last. Looks like you folks are busy. We'll be on our way. Well, that was a total waste of time. I hope Bo finds his pumpkin. Where to next? Let's check out Oscar. We should check in on Oscar. He's smart. Maybe he'll know what to do. I hope nothing else happened after we all went home last night. I want to know why I'm not getting any Kanika flirting. They're so brave for sleeping in that house after everything they went through. I'd rather sleep in the woods with the ditchlings than someplace that was that haunted. Well, it stopped being haunted, right? Morning light streams in through the library's large windows. In the bright daylight, the library is once again a place of comfort, all menace having fled in the wake of Charles Shaw Jr.'s departure. No ghost, thank God. I was not up for an encore. I guess Oscar must be in back. I know that's where I'd be if I finally got my house back. Let's go. You make your way back towards the annex. It feels strange to be back here in the light of day, as if the events of the previous evening were all just a terrible dream. This hallway creeps me out. Kanika knocks on the door. Oh, good morning. It's so good to see all of you. Please, come on in. Oh, it's Dr. Kelly. You're doing really great, Rosalina. Not a lot of kids your age can take shots that well. You're being so brave. You don't have to talk to me like I'm 5. But you are brave. You really are, Rosalina. You're like so badass. Alexis is right. This is more than most people have to deal with their whole lives. And here you are, taking it like a champ. Dr. Kelly's kind demeanor vanishes as she turns and glares at you. Oh, I see we have visitors. Have any of you seen Stella since last night? Not since dinner. She hasn't gotten in touch with any of you? Nope, we have no clue where she's gone. That's not good. I haven't seen her since she ran off last night. I feel terrible. I should have done a better job warning her. Stella was practically banging down your door trying to get evidence of ghosts. I don't think you were going to be able to stop her. There was no way you could have known how she would react when she found it. How are you doing, Rosalina? Tired. My leg hurts a lot. But the medicine is helping. It's not so bad now. Plus, I got to lie down in an actual bed last night, and you have no idea how good that felt. Thanks, Val. I can't believe you got any sleep last night after all that ghost stuff. I just sat on the couch with all the lights on. I don't think I slept at all. I really needed some rest after, the hospital. And my foot. Your body is desperately trying to get you the rest. All that activity yesterday was pretty brutal on your injury. It's never going to stop hurting if you keep pushing yourself. So, what are you not going to do today? Anything? That's right. You're staying right here. No walking around. No investigating haunted houses. Sorry, Dr. Kelly. I should have been better at stopping her. I take full responsibility. As her father, I should have No need for anyone to step in to take blame for anything. It's the hospital's fault for sending her home at all. It's gross negligence, if you ask me. But give it time, then you can do all the activities you want. All right, Rosalina? How's Reese? He's fine. Had a rough night, but he'll recover. He's used to this sort of thing. He just needs a couple of days to get back on his feet. That means no more excitement, not even a movie. I'm sorry to hear that, Dr. Kelly. Hmm. Okay, I am not flirting with the doctor. I will respect that boundary and not bother either of you anymore. That sounded suspiciously like sarcasm, but I'll choose to believe you meant it. Yeah, let's remain silent. So, you've got your meds, you've got your nest of pillows, a helpful friend by your side, and a cat to keep you company. Seems like you're all set. Make sure you do a whole lot of nothing today. I will. Bye, Dr. Kelly. Yeah, thanks again for coming down to see us, Joan. Not a problem. I'd much rather she stay put than have to get in and out of cars. I'll call later today to see how things are going. Hope the rest of the week is less eventful for the both of you. Goodbye, Rosalina. Make sure you stay put and keep Pixel company, okay? Dr. Kelly features harden once again as she steps towards the door. And then she pushes past you to leave Oscar's house. Well, we'll let you kids have some space. Alexis, why don't you figure out a restful activity for you and Rosalina? Will do, Mr. Gutierrez. I brought some video games and puzzles from my house, and some movies, too. Whatever you want to do, Rosalina. I can just see them playing with, like, Nintendo Switch or something. Oscar ushers you down back to the library. What's up? Is everything okay? Yes, everything's fine, or at least much better than yesterday. I can't thank you all enough. I'd like to be as helpful as I can from here on out. Now that our little situation is dealt with, I'll finally have time to dig into the town archives. Our house was haunted because someone was murdered here. The mine collapse the other night was at the site of a mass grave. With enough research, maybe we'll be able to get a step ahead of the next crisis. Maybe we can actually preempt it. Yeah, you can't. That is, assuming there's going to be a next crisis. But something tells me we aren't in the clear yet. We should compare notes. Not that I have any to start with, but if you know anything that might narrow down my research, it could save me a lot of time. I don't think we actually know that much more than you do, but I've got some hunches. Can't help but feel like there must have been some inciting event since everything started getting weird seemingly overnight. What that inciting event was, or where to start looking for it, I have no idea, but it's something to keep in mind. There's a root cause for all of this. Hopefully there's a way to put that genie back into its bottle. I'm going to do my best to find out if there's ever been any similar events and whether there's anything special about Scarlet Hollow that might explain what's going on. I think there's something in the clinic. There was this door yesterday, and I could feel something pulling me towards it. Right, I'd almost forgotten after everything that happened yesterday. You said there was something there that reminded you of the mines, right? I see. I'll dig what I can on the clinic. There's a lot of history there. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something haunting that place as well. Oh God, you don't think that's why Reese is sick, do you? He's been sick for years, hasn't he? If there's something supernatural causing his illness, it puts a bit of a wrench in our recency theory. It does, but maybe there's more to it than that. Maybe things being clustered so tightly together is just a coincidence. Maybe Scarlet Hollow has been weird for a long time, and we're all just starting to notice. It took me back-to-back encounters with the paranormal on consecutive nights to even consider that we might be dealing with something supernatural. We should investigate the clinic. You're not wrong, but at the same time, I don't want to be the one who sneaks into Dr. Kelly's clinic and gets caught. She's mean enough as is. I don't want to know what she'd be like if she got us breaking into her place of business. No one should be breaking into any houses. We don't need to go looking for trouble when we've already found a lifetime's worth. I don't know if we have time to play it safe. Just give me a day or two to do some research before you do anything rash, okay? We've been finding these weird stone seals. There was one in the mines and another in your basement. There might be more. These are these carvings you mentioned last night, right? To think there was something like that under my house all this time, and to think someone must have put it there. But who? This gives me quite a few threads to follow. Thank you, pal. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if you were right yesterday, pal. What if there really is another one of those carvings in the clinic? Should we warn Dr. Kelly? She may have believed Oscar about last night, but I don't know how receptive she'd be if we told her there was a ghost in her house. Even if she believed us, she's stubborn. Let's remain silent. Let's see. Kanika shudders. We're going to have to investigate the clinic, aren't we? With or without Dr. Kelly's permission. Are you suggesting a break-in? It's what Stella would do, and she's been there for three for three this week when it comes to finding spooky stuff. She's also been 3 for 3 when it comes to finding her way into mortal peril. This is why we have to find her as soon as possible. It shouldn't fall on me to suggest we do something dangerous. I'm terrible at selling it. It's not that I don't think we should figure out what's going on in there. We just need to be cautious about what we do next. We don't want anyone to get attacked or possessed by any more ghosts, even if it is to help a friend. Don't know if we have time to play it safe. Okay, she just said that. Just give me a day or two to do some research before you do anything rash, okay? We have a carving right here. Maybe studying it can give us some new leads. Not a chance. I know the ghost is probably gone for good, but that thing is evil. And if there's even the slightest chance that going back down there triggers something, it's not worth disturbing. At least not until we know more. My daughter's safety comes first right now. We finally have our house back, and I'm not taking any risks until we know what we're dealing with. No arguments here. Make sure Pixel stays inside, or he might get grabbed by ditchlings. Ditchlings are those things from the woods, right? With those faces? They snatch animals to do some kind of parasitic egg-laying thing, so unless you want one of those things to pop out of Pixel, you'd better keep him where he's safe. Will do. I can't imagine how devastated Rosalina would be if something were to happen to him, especially after everything she's been through. Whatever we're doing next, I feel like we're missing a vital team member. We need to find Stella, and fast. I agree. We need her brazen energy if we're going to do any serious sleuthing. Let us know what you find. I will. So that's Oscar. Any other ideas? Let's check out the mines. I guess there's a decent chance Stella went to find your cousin. I can't say I get it, but it's definitely something she would do. Come on, I'll drive us. Oh yeah, only 3 miners. There's a small gathering of workers outside the entrance to the mines, picket signs in hand. Is this a strike? They're striking? Good for them, but I kind of thought there'd be more of them, you know? Hope it's not weird to talk to them while they're in the middle of all this. Well, if it isn't the boss's cousin. He might have had us fooled the other day, but word gets around fast. Have any of you seen Stella? She's missing. The YouTuber? She's the one with all the banned from property posters, right? We haven't seen her, and we've been out here all day, so we'd know if she'd come by. Oh no, this isn't looking good. We'll make sure to keep an eye out. How goes the strike? We miscalculated. We thought a kid losing her leg would have pushed folks over the edge, but I guess the boss personally dragging those kids out of the mine left a lasting impression. People are calling the boss a goddamn hero. Calling Tabitha a hero? Really? We were there too that night. It's like everyone just forgot about how poorly she's been treating us, or how unsafe the mines are. Can't go back down there knowing the rock over my head could come down any second. I value my life more than a paycheck. It was dumb luck she saved those kids. If she had any actual value, she'd come to the table and give us what we're owed. I know there's not a lot of us out here, but there's more of us at the diner, and there's more of us setting up mutual aid. But once people see our follow-through, they're going to join up. This is only the beginning. Let me know if there's anything the general store can do to help. Anything you can think of, we'll take it. We need all the support we can get right now. You know this isn't legal, right? She can just fire you all and not face any repercussions. She hasn't fired us yet. We're in a game of chicken right now, and we don't intend to blink. Okay, they haven't seen Stella. Let's just go. If that means we don't have to talk to Tabitha, that's fine by me. We've done our due diligence here. Come on, I'll drive us back to town and we can figure out our next move from there. Where to next? Oh, let's check out the diner. Good idea. Folk tends to congregate there. Maybe we'll run into someone who's seen Stella. Feels like you walked into a private meeting. The back booth is full of miners, and they're having what seemed to be an intense discussion, their expressions gravely serious. Hey, are we interrupting something? Of course not. Everyone's welcome here. Just, be careful not to step on any toes. Things have gotten a little tense over the past couple of days. The miners in back were too engaged in conversation to notice you enter, and instead of speaking in hushed voices, they argue with each other loudly enough for you to easily overhear. There's no way I can risk something like this. You know my sister's tuition depends on this paycheck, and I can't afford a place outside of the company housing. This is too risky. We should just cut it out now before she starts firing people. I hate to say it, Zax, but Harrison might have a point. Everybody shut it. Smith just let me know the boss's cousin over there was snooping around up at the mines this morning. Let's not give the boss any more ammunition. Smith didn't seem to be too worried, but still, we don't have a lot of room for error here. Conversations cuts out, an uncomfortable silence falling over the diners as the miners watch you with suspicion. Let's weigh in on Harrison. Let's see. No. Don't pressure people's acts. If they don't want to strike, they don't have to. Ooh, achievement unlocked. Saving the family business. Okay. Pow, what the hell? You're really trying to play every angle you can, aren't you? Hasn't anyone ever told you that's an easy way to wind up without any friends? Better get out of here before we drive you out. You're not welcome here. Winnie, all of you calm down. If a fight breaks out in my establishment, you're all out. I don't care who's in the right. You hurt the lady. Don't get involved, and we'll have to take this outside. Whoa, hey. Let's all bring it down a notch. I'm sure Pouch doesn't have a good grasp on the situation. Let's not start any fights. I just want the record to show that just because I'm currently standing next to Tabitha's cousin does not mean I'm friends with Tabitha's cousin. Barely know this person. Well, this would be why I can't flirt with you. Have you seen Stella? She's missing. The YouTuber? We ain't seen her. Harrison's voice drops to a barely audible mumble. I hope she's okay. She hasn't been around, but I'll let you know if I hear anything. I guess we should get going. You turn and leave the diner, Kanika trailing close behind you. Still no sign of Stella. We should check out the church. The church? What do you think, Stella decided to get religious all of a sudden? She seemed really shaken up. It's not unlikely. You're right. Stranger things have happened. And let's make it quick, though. I don't want him trying to rope me into some church event. Kanika leads the way, talking you up the gradual slope towards the church. All right, where is that weirdo? Oh, there's the weirdo. My, 3 visitors at once on a Thursday? This is unprecedented. But there are only 2 of us. Oh, no, were we followed by a ditchling? Sup, old people? Oh, it's just Zane. What are you doing here? All the glimpses of death I've had in the past 2 days have forced me into the midst of an existential crisis, my dudes. Wanted to see if faith held any answers for me. Alas, I have not yet found the solace I seek. Give it time, Zane. It sometimes takes a while for the Lord to work his way into your heart. But when he does, you won't regret letting him in. Be sure to look over those pamphlets I gave you, and of course, I'm always here if you need to talk. Sure thing, Pastor D. Peace, y'all. Anyway, we're looking for Stella. She wandered off last night, and no one has seen her since. We're starting to get pretty worried. We hoped maybe you or Janie had seen her. Oh. Hang on, folks. I gotta BRB really quickly. I will be back. Okay, I am back. Sorry, my housemate is leaving for a week, and I wanted to say goodbye before he left, and I didn't see him for a while. You know, it might be good to do that. Where were we? Ah, yes. Trying to see if Stella went to church. Can't speak for Janie, but I'm afraid I've seen neither hide nor hair of Stella. If you'd like to talk to my wife, she's just over by the alpacas, though, T'Pow, I was hoping we might be able to talk in private. Sure, what's up? I guess I'll leave you to it while we check in with Janie. Okay, there's only one of you, Kanika. Kanika heads off towards Janie and the alpacas, leaving you alone with the nervous pastor. I'm so glad you decided to come up to visit me. So many young people these days seem to think they can solve all their problems on their own. Meanwhile, God is right there, ready to help out. Or ready to help them, if only they'd let him into their hearts. The pastor's eyes dart back towards the alpacas. Okay, good, they're gone. You're new in town. What kind of impression did I make on you? Am I creepy? You care too much about what people think of you. If you want people to like you, you have to not care about whether they like you. That's a harsh truth you're slinging at me. It wasn't always like this, you know. Believe it or not, before I moved to Scarlet Hollow, I used to be pretty popular. I was one of the cool kids over at Harvard Divinity School. He's interrupted by the sound of a snapping twig and a high-pitched giggle, partially muffled by the underbrush on the edge of the property. Tulip, come out of there. You know you're not supposed to play in the woods. Tulip glances back into the woods, quiet as she hesitates. Tulip, are you going to be good, or are we going to skip story time tonight? I'll be good. You don't have to skip story time. I won't go into the woods, I promise. I know you won't, Tulip, because you know it's too dangerous for little girls in there. Why don't you go help Mama with the alpacas? It's just about time they got fed. You can give them some hay. Tulip smiles broadly, seemingly excited by the prospect, and hurries off. Sorry I had to have a firm parenting moment just then. She's been trying to run off into these woods a lot lately, and it's really dangerous, even for adults. There's this massive trash dump not too far past the trees, but it must be at least 50 years old, so it's all grown over and looks like it's part of the landscape. But if you accidentally walk on it, you might find yourself falling into a hip-deep mountain of rusty cans and broken glass. Tulip made up some imaginary friends and keeps telling us that they want her to go out there, like the word of some fictional creature she made up is going to convince us it's a good idea for her to play in somebody's old garbage. But she's 7. Of course she would get some funny little idea like that. I'd love to get the community to really rally around a big cleanup. It's about time somebody got rid of all that junk. Oh, Tetanus Lake. Stella told me about it. Tetanus Lake? That's an accurate name. I wonder if Tulip would stay away if I started calling it that, or if it would only make it sound more alluring. How big a trash dump are we talking? Would a weekend of hard work clear it out? Maybe if you had construction equipment and a team of professionals. It's a big area, and I have no idea how deep it goes. In the meantime, I'm just making sure Tulip knows not to go near it. What were you saying about imaginary friends? Oh, she's just been talking about these friends of hers lately, little stories about creatures that live in the church. I'm sure she saw some animal in there and decided it was her friend. It's nothing to be overly concerned about except the trash heap situation. This man is lying to you. In fact, he's been lying since the moment he mentioned these imaginary friends. Whatever his daughter has been talking to is real, and he knows it. Sounds to me like you know exactly what she's been talking to. Daniel's eyes go wide, just for a second. He does. He obviously does. He hunches his shoulders, his voice suddenly quiet. There are rats in the church. There, I said it. It's embarrassing. But she saw one at some point, and she can hear them scurrying around in the walls. And she's decided they're her little friends. Please, keep this between us. Don't tell Janie. I don't want her to know, knowing the church is in such rough shape. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Kanika walking back to the two of you. She must have finished talking to Janie. Janie says she hasn't seen Stella either, so we'd better get going. Hope your talk with the pastor went well. Yes, we've had a great conversation. I appreciate you all stopping by, even if it wasn't under the best circumstances. I'll let you all be on your way. And I hope Stella turns up soon. I'll put in some good prayers with the big man for her. All right, thanks. See ya. Kanika starts back down the path to town, and you follow. Okay, now that we've put some distance between us and the church, what did he want to talk to you about? He didn't say anything weird, did he? He wanted to know why everyone in town thinks he's creepy. He is creepy. Let's not get too distracted until we find Stella, though. Where to next? As you consider your next steps, you remember your appointment with Sybil. She seemed to be confident last night that Stella would be okay. Maybe she'll be able to help you find her. She knew about ditchlings, after all. She seemed to know all sorts of things. She's the only person who believed you and Stella from the beginning. She could prove to be a valuable asset. A valuable asset. I guess that's not wrong. We should talk to your mom. I'm supposed to have tea with her today. My mom wanted to talk to you. She's probably going to give you some rocks or bundles of herbs for protection or something. We can humor her. The bells of the general store chime, welcoming as the two of you enter. Kanika, there you are. You were supposed to stay in bed today, remember? And hello, T'Pau. Hope you sufficiently recovered from last night's fiasco. Sorry, Mom. It's just that Stella's missing, and Stella can take care of herself. Unlike you need bed rest and lots of fluids. You don't need to go running around town spreading that cold of yours. Go on. Get up to bed. I'll be up in a minute with more tea. Thought you had some kind of important thing to talk to T'Pau about. I'm really feeling okay. I want to hear what you wanted to say to her. I'll just be doing a tea reading. Haven't those always bored you to tears? Okay, you're right. I'm not feeling well. I really should lie down. Bye, T'Pau. Kanika turns and heads towards the stairs without saying another word. Good thing Kanika has her mom looking out for her. She seems so tired today, and you'll probably be able to find Stella without her. Okay, this is sus. This is super sus. Shall we? Sybil motions towards the tea room. Please have a seat. I'll bring you a fresh cup. You take a seat at the small table at the edge of the room. It's dark here, only a sliver of sunlight able to filter through the heavy curtains, supplemented by the bright grow lights over the plant in the corner. It's castor bean, an incredibly toxic plant, and strange for a tea maker to keep around in her workspace. It's so pretty, though. Sybil joins you at the table and places a cup in front of you. It smells light and citrusy with an undercurrent of decaying earth. It's the same tea you sampled with Avery at the diner on Tuesday. I'll be able to do a reading once you're done. Until then, how about we just chat? Let's sip the tea. You take the tea, sipping it delicately. The citrus smell is fleeting, quickly replaced with the earthiness of its core, like you've taken a mouthful of dirt. But the aftertaste combines the two flavors into something soothing and medicinal, and you find yourself feeling more comfortable, your muscles relaxing for the first time in days. So how did you wind up in Scarlet Hollow? Oh, my family's been in these hills for a long time. That's how I know so much of the local flora. Everything I've learned was handed down from generations of hill folk. There hasn't always been a reliable doctor up here, especially not one most folks could afford. They have to figure out their own medicine. The other day, you promised to tell me, what was it? Unsavory tales of my mom's youth? I most certainly did, though I might have been exaggerating a bit for dramatic effect. I'm prone to do that. In a town this size, you get to know everybody, no matter what the age difference might be. Vivian was a little younger than me, which meant I always had a certain older sister instinct about her. Her family wasn't good to her. Pearl Ann was a lot like your great-grandmother, Edwardine, which is to say she was not a very kind woman. Similar to Tabitha, but with more social grace and considerably more hatred for her fellow man. But your mother wasn't a shrinking Violet either. She was just as stubborn as any other Scarlet, so her family choosing her as their punching bag made her into quite the rebel. Why were Pearl Ann and my mom raised by Edwardine? What happened to their mother? Their entry into this world was violent, I'm afraid. Their mother was young, too young to be pregnant, especially with twins. She didn't survive the labor. What do you know about my grandma? I'm afraid there isn't much I can tell you. I think there were two in that generation. The eldest died when the girls were still children. Edwardine never spoke about them, nor did your mother. I feel like I know a lot about the women in my family, but what about the men? Did they even exist? I suppose they just haven't been very noteworthy since Edwardine took over the mines. Her husband died a long time ago, and to be quite honest, I can't even recall his name. Might have been Stuart or something just as forgettable. From what Vivian said, her father has some teenage fling that ended once your grandmother found out she was pregnant. I'm fairly certain it was similar for Vivian, though she was much older, and I believe she was the one who ended it, what with skipping town and all. What happened when my mom found out she was pregnant? She came to me for advice. She was distraught. It was like she'd been handed a death sentence. Maybe it was fear from what had happened to her own mother. Maybe it was something else. But she seemed convinced she was in danger. Tabitha had already been born by then, of course, but she was born in wedlock, so I assumed your mother's worries had something to do with religion. Though the Scarlets weren't particularly religious, as far as I knew. But the way Vivian was that night she came to me, it stuck in my mind. It's always had me wondering what it was about your family that made her panic so much at the thought of having a baby. What's with all the mystery and ritual? If you have something to tell me, just come out and say it. I'll need your tea leaves first. I have pieces of the puzzle, but the tea leaves should help to give me the full picture. I guess we have to finish the tea. You close your eyes and take another sip, and then another. It's delightful. It's not delightful. The tea's gone before you know it. The small cup empties save for what's left of rehydrated leaves coating the bottom. Oh, good. Glad you found the tea palatable enough to drink. It should do you some good. It's one of my most medicinal blends. Now, on to business. Sybil takes the cup from you, staring thoughtfully down at the sludge. Oh dear, this doesn't bode well. You've got just about every warning that can fit in the bottom of a cup. Cross, kettle, hourglass. All of these mean death, misery, difficulty, and the hourglass ties it all together with definite urgency. It's fair to assume that this all has to do with whatever brought the ditchlings. Something is coming, and whether any of us can stop it, I'm not sure. But we may at the very least be able to figure out what it is. And there's a central figure here, a cat, an enemy lurking in plain sight. That's ridiculous. Sybil is helping you, and if she was the cat, why would she warn you about herself? Pick someone else. The cat could be Reese. I mean, he has claws and sleeps all day. It's obvious, right? Sybil chuckles. You may be taking Cat too literally. I may not have visited with him recently, what with his health the way it is, but from what Joan has told me, he doesn't seem like he has much time for nefarious plots against anyone, let alone someone he met so recently. I don't think you have to worry about any betrayals coming from that poor young man. But you should trust your own judgment here. Friend or family, the cat will make itself known soon enough. You don't have to figure out an answer right away. It often takes time for the mind to connect the dots. Okay, so I feel like gotta be Wayne. It's gotta be Wayne. Just be on guard and keep vigilant that someone close to you isn't to be trusted. I mean, also, it's gotta be Sybil. She is so sus. We know from the ditchlings that something terrible is coming your way, and it's likely that it's connected to some hidden enemy. Perhaps we can try to counteract whatever might be planned for you. Judging by what you told me last night, those stones, carvings, seals, whatever you want to call them, I think it's likely they have something to do with this. Until the cat reveals itself, it seems like your best course of action is to seek these carvings out. Piece together what you can from your visions and arm yourself with information. Okay, so we know that the witch in the ghost story sent Charlie to uncover the seal. So Sybil, who is clearly a witch, sending us to find these seals is totally sus. Okay. Have you sensed any others around town? Do you think you might be able to find another? Your thoughts drift to that door yesterday, the one that seemed to draw you in, urging you deeper into the clinic. Even just remembering it is enough to tug at you, compelling you to return and open it to see what's on the other side. You can find Stella later. Maybe you can even find her there. What's important now is finally seeing what's hidden in the clinic. You didn't get all this from tea leaves. Of course she didn't. She's smart. She knows how to deduce things from the leaves. Of course not. Tea leaves are merely a guide. Sometimes they can help confirm suspicions or fill in where my intuition falls short. My family has lived in these hills a long time, as has yours. I know the Scarlets have secrets. I know Vivian was scared for you, but your place in all this is something we have to figure out together. And that's where little tricks like tea leaves come in handy. But we shouldn't digress. Do you know where you might find the next stone? I shouldn't seek out more of them. Those stones need to be left undisturbed. You've seen how many ditchlings have been gathering around here. If what you've seen so far was not the main event, imagine how bad that's going to be. Anything that happens around these stones may be worth it if it means you are able to get ahead of your adversary and whatever threatens this town. I think that's all the help I can offer. I hope this conversation has been illuminating, even if it just brought up more questions than giving any clear answers. Thanks. I'll let you know if I find anything. Glad to hear it. I hope all goes well and I wish you luck. Hopefully you won't need it. Thank you again for humoring an old lady and stopping by for a chat. With a small grunt of effort, Sybil gets up from the table and you're escorted back to the door. And remember, be careful who you put your trust in. According to your tea, the cat is getting ready to pounce, and merely being ready for it might not be enough. Sybil closes the door to the tea room, the bells of its door strangely flat in the stale air of the nearly empty general store. Talk to Miles. Is your mom a witch? Wouldn't you like to know? I would, actually. It's totally obvious that she's a witch. Like, you even need me to say it. Ghosts are real. Just thought you should know. Yeah, I know. I've seen tons of videos of ghosts doing stuff on the internet. I'm not 12. So, Kanika has a cold, huh? That's what she says. She's just trying to get out of work again. Like I didn't have anything better to do all week while she sits in her room watching anime. It's probably good for her to have a week off. Not if it means I gotta fill in for her during my fall break. I'm supposed to be enjoying my youth. She already had her childhood. Now she has to work till she dies, just like the rest of you old people. She can't be taking all these breaks. Yeah, I'm not asking about rocks. All right, we're going to go check on Kanika. You're not going anywhere before checking in on Kanika. You make your way upstairs. Mom, I don't need any more tea. I think I'm just going to lie down for a while. I was hoping we could spend a little more time together. Oh, hey. Sorry, pal. My mom was right. I'm exhausted. I probably shouldn't push it, or I wind up worse off tomorrow. Looks like you're on your own. Yeah, I guess I don't get to romance Kanika. You make your way out of the general store and down the road to the clinic. Make your way up the familiar hill past the rows of ragged houses that make up Scarlet Hollow's residential area. Oh, look, it's Wayne. And ditchlings and a raccoon. It isn't long before you find yourself outside of Dr. Kelly's clinic, its secrets enticing you to find a way in. Even at the bottom of the hill, you can already feel the presence. It's like a magnet has been fixed to your ribcage, gently tugging you forward, guiding you towards whatever emits this compulsive frequency. Just go in through the front door. It's a doctor's office, not Fort Knox. Why would the clinic door even be locked? You carefully make your way up the old wooden staircase of the clinic's wraparound porch, avoiding any suspiciously creaky-looking steps. You push the door open slowly, just enough for you to slip in, but not enough to risk any sound from the door's ancient hinges. You can see the doc at a desk in some room down the hall. She hasn't noticed you. You shut the door silently, watching her closely. You're in the clinic, free to explore as you please. Or rather, you're free to explore as you please. You can feel that odd sensation again, the nagging pull of whatever it was that wanted you to find it. You've been caught by its gravity, an overwhelming curiosity guiding you around a corner and towards a dark doorway under the stairs. It's been left ajar, as if inviting you to enter. Turn on the lights. The lights click on. You're in the morgue. Pow, what are you doing in the morgue? Okay, I have to ask. Are you human? Yes? Sorry, this probably doesn't look the most normal. But sometimes I just come down here to practice, I guess. Rehearse. Not gonna lie, this is kind of weird, dude. You're the one who just wandered into a morgue. His word seems distant to you. The tugging is strong down here. You can almost feel yourself slipping into a trance, and your eyes wander to the back of the morgue. You need to see what's back there. You touch the wall. It feels disappointingly solid under your palms. Hey, are you okay? You feel Reese's hand gently shake your shoulder, and for a moment, the thing on the other side of the blank white wall, loosens its pull on you. You kind of look possessed for a second there. You good? Make him understand. There's a stone carving on the other side of the wall, and I need to see it. Reese glances back at the wall. You're really serious, aren't you? This is probably a bad idea, but if you really need to get in there, I'm pretty sure there's an emergency axe somewhere upstairs. I just need to get the doc out of our hair. It should take 2 seconds. Get the doc out of our hair? Yeah, if I say I'm sick and need something, she'll drop whatever she's doing and do it for me. Surefire way to get her out of the house. And most of the time it's true anyway. Yes, I will destroy the wall. Wow, you are seriously desperate about that wall. I'll make it quick. Be right back. He strides past you, his long legs moving swiftly. He seems excited, his usual dour demeanor replaced with an uncharacteristic pep when faced with the prospect of sneaking around and tearing down walls. You hear his soft voice filtering in through the open doorway at the top of the stairs, a hoarse and sickly edge added for effect as he speaks to his mother. Yeah, this is only a little bit creepy as fuck. No, I'm lying. It is in fact a lot creepy as fuck. Very creepy as fuck. I think that's the technical term. Very creepy. Creepy as fuck. Yar. All right. Hey, Mom? He coughs gently. Reese, I didn't know you were awake. I still feel like shit, but I think I can finally try to keep some juice down. Looks like we're all out, though. Really? I thought I just picked some up. I've got an errand to run on Main Street anyway. I'll go pick up some orange juice. And some ginger ale, too. That would be awesome. Sorry to ask. I know you're probably busy. It's no problem. It doesn't take long. Don't do anything too strenuous while I'm gone. Just lie in bed until I get back. Thanks, Mom. I'll take it easy. You hear her footsteps move down the hall, then the front door opening and closing. It worked. The theatric rasp has left his voice, excitement rising in its place. Come on up. We don't have long until she's back. Okay. Let's see. As you step out of the morgue, you relax. The extra space between you and the carving has weakened its hold on you, and with it, your desperation to claw your way through the wall and unveil it. It's one of those emergency fire axes, so it should be pretty obvious wherever it is, though I'm not sure where she would be keeping it. I'll show you around. Let's try the doc's office first. You make your way to the doorway of her now vacant office. I don't see an axe in here. He's right, if a cursory glance reveals nothing but stacks of paper and cabinets of medical supplies. But something on the desk catches your eye. Some sort of records with your family's name on them. So we can pick them up to read later. Or we can read them now. Let's read them now. Reese stops in the doorway, turning to watch you leaf through the documents. Find something interesting? They're your family's death certificates. Pearland. Cause of death, sleep apnea. Discovered by her daughter, Tabitha Chrysanthemum Scarlet. No autopsy performed. Tabitha's middle name is Chrysanthemum? Wonder who cursed her with that mouthful. Oh, I think it's pretty. Edwardine Scarlet. Born April 9th, 1913. Died February 12th, 2003. Aged 89. Cause of death, heart failure. Signed by her daughter, Pearl Ann Scarlet. Pretty normal. Almost made it to 90. Died of normal old person illness. Enoch Scarlet. Born September 9th, 1887. Died August 20th, 1957. Age 68. Cause of death, fall from cliff. This one has a coroner's report attached. Organs sustained impact injuries, lacerations to the neck and body consistent with fall from great height. Whoa, an actual autopsy report. Looks ancient. He quickly flipped through the few of the other Scarlets whose names aren't quite as familiar. Theodore Scarlet, born May 24th, 1890, died 1918, age 28, cause of death, crushed and mind collapse. Body not recovered, signed by his brother, Enoch Scarlet. That's right, you had a great-uncle who died in the collapse. Joseph Scarlet, born April 14th, died June 7th, 1944. Louis Scarlet, born August 1920, died June 6, 1944. Both killed at Normandy on the line of duty. Those must have been Edwardine's brothers. Certificate of fetal death. Infant boy, Andrew Charles Scarlet. Delivered April 3rd, 1945. Stillbirth. Mother, Edwardine Scarlet. Cause of death, complications during birth. No doctor present. Home burial. This is suspicious AF. That settles the question of whether you're related to Charlie. Not so fast. There was no doctor present at the birth and a home burial. There's some information missing here. Alexander Scarlet. Oh, she's the one whose doll it is. Born July 12th, 1946. So, next year after Charlie Jr. Died August 20th, 1957. Age 9. Hang on. July 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. She would have been 11 and a bit, not aged 9. I'm a bit... Okay. Alexander, the owner of the doll. So she went missing. I wonder if they declared her dead on the same date that Enoch died, but she went missing 2 years before? And it was the same day Enoch died in a hiking accident. Mary Bell Scarlet, born April 3rd, 1947. Died October 30th, 1963, age 16. So she was born like 9 months after Alexandra, right? Because Alexandra was born in 46 in July, so like August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. Yeah, 9 months, exactly, like to the fucking day. Cause of death, complications during childbirth, signed by her mother, Edwardine Scarlet. Whoa, that's a lot of kids to outlive. You turn around and leave the office. It's time to move on. A medical supply room is probably a good bet. A fire axe seems like something that might be useful in a room full of chemicals. It's just down the hall. There it is. Looks like it needs a key, though. We'd better not break the glass. I'd rather explain why I had to steal the axe after we've had a chance to use it. There must be a key in here somewhere. He stops, as if listening to something you can't hear. Shit, she's back already. As if on cue, you hear the front door to the clinic open and close, the creak of its antique hinges echoing down the hallway. Footsteps start down at the hall. She's headed this way. Quick, we gotta hide. I'm not supposed to be in here. He opens the closet door and hurriedly motions you inside. You slip past him, scrunching into the small space as best you can. He attempts to slide in after you. You make space, and he slips in next to you, closing the door just enough that you can both still monitor the entrance to the supply room. Dr. Kelly storms in, plastic bag in tow. She takes something out of the bag and places it on the counter. And then she hurries back out, bag rustling as she makes her way back down the hallway. We'd better wait a second, just in case. The two of you stand in tense silence, both crammed into the suffocating closet, taking shallow breaths as if she could hear you breathing from the other side of the building. But the footsteps soon return. Dr. Kelly makes her way back towards your hiding place, creaking floorboards broadcasting her location all the way to the hallway just outside your hiding spot. His head swivels suddenly. That was the door to the house. We're in the clear. Let's go. The two of you spill out of the closet. Reese quickly and quietly starts pulling the drawers, scanning them for keys. You can't help but notice what Dr. Kelly left on the long steel table in the middle of the room. A sprig of small furry fruits. Castor bean. You've seen them elsewhere in town, but for the life of you, you can't remember where. Why did your mom get castor beans? Yes, found the keys. He holds up a small ring of keys, each with a strip of colored tape on the head. What's this about beans? Oh, those weird little fruit things? Reese unlocks the cabinet and offers you the fire axe. Here's your axe, and I don't know, I've never seen them before. I'm not allowed in the supply room. It's probably some kind of medicinal plant, right? She took out a chemistry set too, though, come to think of it, she's not supposed to make medicine. She's not a pharmacist. This room is just storage for orders she gets from a pharmacist over in Brevard. Why would she bring something like that in here? Castor beans make ricin, a deadly poison. She's not making it though, right? Why would she make that? She's a doctor. You decide it's best to let Reese draw his own conclusions. Maybe she has some kind of information on it lying around here somewhere. That drawer over there is locked. If I were information on some mysterious alien-looking fruit, I'd probably be in a locked drawer, right? Good thing I already have the keys. He unlocks the drawer, pulling out a notebook. This is about me. There's stuff in here from when I was like 12. It's some kind of diary or medical history or both, I guess. What the hell is this? Something about another episode? Guessing she's referring to one of my rough nights. Oh, here we go. There's some illustrations. He glances at the strange plant on the countertop. It's those beans you mentioned. She uses them to make my medicine. That's poison, right? He jerks his head towards the door. Shit. That was the door from the house. We gotta run. You follow Reese's instructions, once again starting down the basement stairs, letting the pull of the stone carving guide you back to the morgue. Dr. Kelly's voice filters down from above. I was right, we did already have juice. It was just in the back of the fridge. But there's no harm in having extra. What are you doing in the clinic? I thought I told you to get rest. Oh, I'm just gonna chill in the morgue. I got my speakers, so if you hear some weird sounds, that's just my music. I'll be sure to put in earplugs to drown out all that industrial clanging you listen to. You know I'm not the biggest fan of you spending time down there. It can't be good for your mental health to hang out in a refrigerator for corpses. Do you at least have a blanket this time? Yeah, I'll be fine. It's just a change of scenery. My room feels too claustrophobic right now. Okay, I'll let you know when it's time for dinner. You don't have to do that. I'll grab something from my room later. Sure, whatever you're able to do. You hear the door at the top of the stairs close, and the sound of Reese descending the stairs to join you in the fluorescent-lit room below. Hey. You listen to music that sounds like a wall being broken down? Of course I do. I'm sad all the time. Glad my taste in music is finally coming in handy. It's exactly the cover we need. Stop asking questions. It's time to see what's on the other side of that wall. Let's do this. I'd like to do the honors if you don't mind. I've got some confused and angry feelings I'd like to express. Reese takes the axe from you and approaches the wall. Reese manages to cut through the wall with very little effort, unexpected from someone with his frame and condition, but you know his stringy muscles are backed by a mounting fury at what's been done to him. That goes a long way. He staggers back from the massive hole in the wall and admires his work. Holy shit. The splintered edge frames a dark passage, seemingly cut deep into the side of the cliff. Cold seeping from the forgotten passageway into the already frigid morgue. The already frigid morgue. As long as we're clear on the morgue's frigidness. Wait, what is going on? The splintered edge frames a dark passage, seemingly cut deep into the side of the cliff. Cold seeping from the forgotten passageway into the already frigid morgue. Oh wait, I just read that. Duh. Reese coughs as he takes a better look at what lies beyond the wound in the wall. There's a whole hallway back there. Thick, stale air leaks from the hole, filling the morgue with an earthy mildew smell, like the room is slowly filling with dirt. And with the stink of the grave-like room beyond comes an even stronger compulsion. You step forward, and you climb into the hole. This is wild. I had no idea any of this was here. An entire hospital wing, rotting away from decades behind some flimsy drywall. His voice sounds distant. Your sole focus is finding it. Your feet move without prompting, and you stumble down the hallway towards the far wall, barely registering the antique clutter as you stagger past it. Whoa, are you okay? You don't respond, and you don't bother to retrieve the axe. This wall is rotten, water damage having eaten away at the wood over the course of unknowable years, the planks nearly reduced to sawdust. You tear into it. Enoch, I thought you weren't going to come. I was worried you'd leave me here forever. They said there's nothing you can do. I'll never use my legs again. Enoch, what am I going to do? Calm down, Teddy. These doctors don't know what they're talking about. I've been doing my own research, and I found us an alternative. We won't have to worry about anything from here on out. I promise. Okay, so Teddy had his legs crushed. And now we're back to the entity in Ghost Town telling you I use those healthy legs of yours. So I'm assuming the entity is Teddy? I think. Kind of has to be. Maybe the entity is also Wayne? I went to talk to the witch. A witch? But that's nonsense. It's all right. It's all sorted. We're taking you home today, and everything will be resolved by this time next week. Everything goes black. Your vision swims back into focus, and it takes a solid second or two to reorient yourself. You're in an unfamiliar bed. Reese leans against the far wall, eyeing you with concern and curiosity. Hey, I was worried you'd slipped into a coma or something. You tore down a wall like a wild animal, found some weird carving, and collapsed. I think you might have had some kind of seizure. Are you okay? Wait, nothing spooky happened? The mountain didn't collapse on us? No ghosts? No, nothing. You just fell down, twitched a little. When you seemed stable, I carried you back here. That was a few hours ago. But you have a delicate constitution. You don't have the kind of muscle mass required for that. Huh? Why would I lie about that? I just picked you up and carried you back. It's not like I had to go very far. Does Dr. Kelly know I'm here? No, I snuck you back into the house while she was busy in the medical storage room. Figured you wouldn't want to come to in the morgue. I had a vision. Like a hallucination? I have those sometimes too. Used to have them a lot as a teen. Always just weird little things, like my hands would look wrong, or my neck would seem too long, or the room would feel smaller. I think the carvings are trying to warn me about something. My family has dark secrets. An old family like yours, I believe it. Hopefully that's all ancient history, though. I should probably get going. Stella's still missing, and the stone here finally stopped yelling at me. Might be a little tricky. The doc is on the warpath up there. I refuse to take my medicine, and she's not happy about it. I'm sure you can understand why. There's no way I was going to take anything she gave me. She's been poisoning me for years. I went ahead and blocked my door so she can't get down here. Now we just have to wait her out. I don't want to be down here. I want to leave. Why? You're safe down here with me. You're safer here with me than out there. Out there, she could hurt you, or someone else could. It'll just be a few hours maximum, and we'll both be free, I promise. I'm calling my cousin. You dialed Tabitha. That's a good idea. Tell her what we found out. Make it so that woman knows she can't just sweep it all under the rug. Trap me in this basement forever if something happens to you. It's the only way to make sure you can protect yourself. Your cousin picks up the phone. What mess have you gotten yourself into now? We think Reese's mom was poisoning him, and now I'm trapped in his basement because he's worried she might kill me. Tabitha sighs. At least this time it's not some supernatural terror. I'll come rescue you. She hangs up. I'm now trapping you here. I'm just concerned for your well-being. I'm sorry. I must seem strange right now. I feel strange. There's a knock on the window. Leave now, before this situation escalates. Who the hell are you? Oh God, not you. Why do you follow me everywhere I go? Without another word, Wayne starts pounding on the window. Good luck, freak. That glass is shatterproof. You feel a hand on your shoulder and you are thrown back from the window. Get away. Leave us alone. Well, this is really interesting because we skipped a whole bunch of dialogue before Reese's transformation. As Reese cheers at his clothes, paint bubbles out from his canvases, his ghoulish figures peeling themselves out of their two-dimensional worlds, invading yours, crawling up the walls. The window shatters. Grab my hand, I'll pull you out. I get it. You're the guy who's been following T'Pau. Enemies all around us, huh? Ugh. Well, this is a thing that's happened. In a surge of violence, the change that had been brewing inside Reese finally comes. As it manifests, the broken basement window is sealed off, and Wayne along with it. You've seen enough to know you need to leave. You run up the stairs. The door is blocked by a chair, and then it's blocked by something else, too. You toss the chair out of the way and do your best to tear through the substance covering the door. It reforms and regenerates too quickly for you to claw your way through. Defeated, you turn back to the basement. The remainder of Reese's paintings awaits their artist's command. It's okay. Stay right there. I can take care of this. Then she won't be able to hurt anyone anymore. I'll be right back. Reese storms up the stairs, leaving you with his smears. Partway up the stairs, he shouts back to you. Oh, and you might want to call off your cousin, by the way. I wouldn't want to spill any more blood than I have to tonight. You make your way to the door that beckoned to you yesterday, all intrigue now washed away. You know where it leads, and you know what secrets that stone that lurked in the forgotten basement of the clinic had to share with you. Now the clinic holds a new horror. Somewhere beyond the narrow hallway leading from the house proper into the doctor's office, there's a monster preparing to do something unthinkable. You grasp the handle and turn. Dr. Kelly emerges from the shadows and levels a firearm in your direction. You instantly notice it's not a proper rifle, but some kind of tranquilizer gun. Duck. You do as she says, ducking out of the way. She shoots. The gun isn't very loud. There's only a pop as the projectile leaves the barrel, whizzing through the air. You turn to see a dart embedded in Reese's chest. He pulls the tranquilizer dart out of his chest, heaving heavy breaths as the drug courses through his system. You're going to have to try harder than that, you... No, how did you... As if you could hope to stop me, you pathetic waste of flesh. Before Wayne takes another step down the stairs, paint flows out between cracks in the wood. Reese's panic, pulling in a mob of furious smears to hold his enemies in place. The artist darts away, but the smears continue their work in his absence. Dr. Kelly makes her escape down the hallway, and Wayne is overcome, glued in place at the top of the stairs by stiffening globs of paint. Nearby room. You rush out of the main entryway, taking cover in the first room you see. A few seconds pass. Things are quiet. Hey! Dr. Kelly's voice cracks out of some unseen speaker. You! T'Pow! I'm stuck in the safe room. I can't help you from here, but you can help the both of us. What the hell is your son, ma'am? I wish I knew. He was fine until he hit puberty. Everyone said raising a teen was going to be a bitch, but they don't know the half of it. Now listen to me. You're in the medical storage room, right? I need you to use the black taped key to get into the cabinet and bring me the elephant tranquilizers. It's a bottle labeled carfentanil. Bear tranquilizers clearly aren't going to cut it anymore. An intercom system, huh, Doc? Good. You should hear this. Pow, you don't have to do anything she says. I'm not going to hurt anybody else. Just her. If I don't, you and I both know she's just going to shoot me full of elephant tranquilizers. Did I hear that right? And shove me back down in that basement, or maybe someplace even worse, and keep killing me every day for the rest of my miserable existence. I feel amazing right now, better than I've ever felt in my life. I'm not dangerous. She's just scared because she knows she has to finally pay for what she's taken from me. I'm not going to let you kill someone, Reese. Why not? She wasn't afraid I might die. Does she know those tranquilizers aren't going to kill me? Does she care? Trust me, Reese. I've always been careful with your medication. I want you to live. I love you. Tell yourself whatever lies you have to, Mom. If you wanted a good relationship, you had a chance, and you decided to convince me I was dying instead of just letting me exist. Don't try to spin it like some kind of crime of passion now that the consequences are staring you in the face. Enough. Reese cries out in pain. What the hell did you do to my shoulder? I'll handle it. Try to get somewhere safe until then. The two stagger off down the hallway. Quick, grab the tranquilizers and head to the safe room. You do as she says. The tranquilizers are easy to find, marked with a small square of black tape to match the key. She's certainly an organized woman. You make your way out of the medical storage room and back to the hallway where Dr. Kelly disappeared. As you approach, Dr. Kelly heaves open the door, slowly breaking apart the mass of paint sealing it shut. Hurry, I don't think I can keep it open for long. You slip past her into the safe room. She shuts the door quickly, though one of the little smears manages to slip past. She stomps on it. Painted viscera splatters across the cement floor. It sounds like Reese and your friend are still fighting. We probably have a few minutes before he gets here. What is this room? Old x-ray room, lead walls. After I realized this whole situation was a possibility, I had the door reinforced with special remote-controlled locks. Glad it could finally come in handy. Okay, so lead walls means that it's really soft and squishy, because lead is really soft metal. Let's talk Reese. Yeah, I bet you have some questions. Go ahead, I have nothing left to hide. When did you find out? A little after he hit puberty. He had all the usual changes, then a few extra. Thickened nails, sharp teeth, elfish ears. I figured he might have some kind of genetic disorder, had him checked out a few specialists, but there was nothing obviously wrong with him. Then we had an argument, and he changed right in front of me. It was nothing like what he is now, just a couple of inches and some facial abnormalities, enough to be noticeable. I was scared he could see that, and he stopped. I thought it was a one-off, or maybe a hallucination. But the second time, it wasn't as subtle, and it didn't go away as easily. That's when I knew for sure that this was something beyond my realm of expertise. How did he not know what he was? I've been medicating him since he was 12. We've only had 3 incidents like this before, maybe 4, depending on what counts. This is the worst one by far. He doesn't seem to understand at first that he looks different, and I just make sure to stay on top of his dosages, so he rarely ever does. But I've been preparing for this inevitability. He's an adult now. There's only so much I can do to control him. Why did you start poisoning him? Dr. Kelly sighs. Can we stop calling it poison? Yes, it's poison, but the act of me giving him poison was not me poisoning him. I was medicating his illness. I started when he was around 15. I'd been giving him increasingly high dosages of Klonopin, but his body kept adapting and his symptoms would come back, especially if we ever fought. I couldn't keep ordering all those drugs. It was already suspicious, and I could risk losing my license, especially when anyone ever found out what I was using them for. Someone approached me with a solution. I took it, and I've been dealing with the emotional and mental consequences of that decision ever since. Who approached you, and what did they say? Dr. Kelly gives you a long, hard look. I don't want to talk about that woman. But screw it, I might die tonight. Sure, I'll tell you. It was erased memories, friends. And that's all I have to say about that. What is he? At first I thought he was some kind of werewolf, but if he is, he doesn't follow any kind of full moon rules or anything. Silver doesn't do shit to him. And you've seen what he looks like. It's just weird. I almost wish I could examine him while he's fully transformed. I'd be fascinated to know what happened to him, or how his body does it. But he seems pretty hell-bent on ripping my throat out, so I guess that'll just have to remain a mystery. Yeah, Doc. I think it's gonna have to remain a mystery. Was his dad similar? A strange little smile creeps onto Dr. Kelly's face. I wish I knew. Reese just kind of happened. Wasn't seeing anyone. I just woke up pregnant one day. I know how impossible that sounds. I'm a doctor, for Christ's sake. I kept having these weird dreams, almost like sleep paralysis episodes. Romantic sleep paralysis episodes. They were actually kind of sweet, but they were just dreams. But then all of a sudden, my period stopped. I got morning sickness, and roughly 9 months later, Reese. The relationship between you seems so difficult. Yeah, you could say that. He was such a cute kid. When I found out I was pregnant, I was terrified. I didn't know if I'd be ready, but he made me love being a mom. I wonder if Vivian also got pregnant that way, and that's why she was terrified? It's not like it was going to be sunshine and roses forever, no matter what. Kids grow up and they change, sometimes for the worst. This is part of being a mom, too, doing what you can to make sure a child you brought into the world isn't going to go around eating people. Yes, this is a common thing for all moms. How do you know he's dangerous? Well, he wants to murder me, so that's clue number 1. It's not like he's usually a violent kid. He's mostly just sad, but every now and then we butt heads and, That's usually when this side of him comes out. Imagine if this happens anytime he gets frustrated with anyone. Imagine he gets road rage one day, turns into a 12-foot tall monster with a million teeth, and rips somebody apart in the middle of a major metropolitan area. Yeah, he's dangerous. That doesn't mean he's dangerous. I mean, you are the biggest threat to him. Don't preach to me. Sure, right now I'm the focus of his ire, but who's to say he's not going to find a new target once I'm out of the picture? I know what he's capable of, so it's my job to make sure he doesn't hurt anybody. What's the game plan, both short and long term? Well, I pump him full of elephant tranquilizers, then I lock him in here. Then I somehow convince him to see things from my perspective. Then we'll live happily ever after. Has that worked before? He's never known the exact nature of his condition before. Maybe it was a mistake to hide it from him. But I thought it meant he could feel like he had more freedom, not knowing that if he just stopped taking his pills, he could become big and pointy enough to kill me. I'm going to have to revoke some of those freedoms now. He's not going to like that. But I think he'll understand, even if it takes time. I don't think he wants to hurt people. He just can't help what he is. While we're at it, any other secrets you're keeping? You have it all. You have no idea how relieved I am to finally say all this shit out loud. You and Dr. Kelly sit in silence and wait for her son to make his way to the safe room. The sound of distant breaking glass cuts through the silence of the clinic outside the safe room. Shit, this might be game time. Dr. Kelly opens the door. The two of you stare out into the hallway. This is a thing. This is a thing that is happening. Is this what you were so afraid of? Yes, Reese, this is what we were so afraid of. Hand over the tranquilizers. This is our shot. I'm sorry. Stop messing around and hand it over now. Oh, Tabby comes with a shotgun no matter what. A shot rings out. Reese's body is thrown to the wall. Shotgun in hand, your cousin rounds the corner and trains her weapon on his writhing body. Tabitha, what are you doing here? Stop it. Let me sedate him. We can deal with this non-lethally. Are you insane? That thing was trying to kill you. What do we have for autosaves here? Not far enough back. Oh well. Say nothing. You say nothing, leaving the decision to the woman with the gun. Your cousin fires off another round. She pauses to reload. And then she fires again. And then again. You two, help me drag this thing outside. We're burning it. I think... Let's try that again. I think I actually want to help tranquilize him. This is an amazing shot of Tabitha. He leaped forward, placing a body between Tabitha and the whimpering Reese, his face already trying to stitch itself back together as he writhes on the ground. T'Pow, what the hell do you think you're doing? Don't kill him. He's still a person. Person my ass. Did you see his face? Both of you, shut up and help me drag him into the safe room, now. You turn to see Dr. Kelly already pulling her son towards the open doorway. Tabitha swings the gun on her back, huffily jumping in to help Dr. Kelly. It's not long before his regenerating body is sealed away behind the door. Not exactly how I thought that would play out, but at least none of us are dead. If you've done any permanent damage to him, you're going to be the one paying for the medical supplies, Miss Scarlet. You aren't seriously going to keep that thing alive, are you? It's clearly dangerous. What makes you think you can keep it locked up? It's my son, Miss Scarlet, and despite appearances, he's still human. I prefer you refer to him as such. And I've managed to keep him safely locked away and harmless for years. Sure, it'll be a little more difficult now that he knows about his condition, but that room is lined with lead. He's not going anywhere. He's human? Are you sure about that? Are we talking about the same guy? Trust me, I've done genetic tests. He's human somehow, and it's my job as his mother to protect him and to protect people from him. It's not a burden I take lightly. You don't have to worry about him getting out anytime soon. Oh, he's a monster, but even monsters deserve a chance at life, Tabitha. Don't give me that line. He was about to eat both of you if I didn't show up. Don't care what your ethics are. I care about my cousin not being digested by some 12-foot freak with a million teeth. You don't have to defend him, T'Pau. I have a lot of cleaning to do, and I don't feel like entertaining a couple of bickering cousins while I do. I'd prefer it if both of you could just forget what you saw and move on with your lives. My son is my business. You and your cousin leave the clinic, Dr. Kelly slamming the shotgun-blasted door behind you. The two of you make your way to the bottom of the hill where Tabitha's car is parked among the sleepy houses of Scarlet Hollow's residential street. She places her gun in the trunk and turns to face you. You're alone right now. Is Stella still missing? I tried calling her a couple of times, but I kept getting her stupid voicemail. Yeah. The two of you are interrupted by the jingling of dog tags. Gretchen appears at the edge of the road, running as fast as her geriatric pug legs can carry her. Gretchen seems distressed. She whines as she stares up at you from the ground, eyes desperate, anxiously jumping back and forth and darting away when you try to lean down to her. Gretchen, but where's Stella? Looks like we're about to find out. You and Tabitha follow Gretchen into the woods. God, I hope she's not leading us to a body. Gretchen nervously runs ahead of you and Tabitha, looking back to make sure you're still there as she leads you into the dark woods. Before long, the trees thin and you find yourself on a steep hill by a two-lane road, lined on one side by a sheer rock. There, sitting on a log, staring mournfully out on the asphalt, is Stella. You watch her from the underbrush. Great, she's alive. Let's go. I'm gonna go talk to her. You take a step forward, gravel crunching under your feet as you walk along the edge of the road. Tabitha hangs back, crouching in the bushes, trying to stay unseen. You sit on the log beside Stella. T'Pau, how did you find me? Yeah, Gretchen found me. She's a good girl. She really is. What is this place, Stella? Why are you here? Stella faces you for a moment, desperate eyes trying to force out words as part of her thoughts she would never have to say out loud. And then she turns back to the road. This is where the accident happened. My parents died on this bend in the road. They were taking me to college. I was lying in the back seat. It had just rained and the sun was finally coming out. Oh, God. Okay. Hey, guys. Anybody watching? Content warning. We're gonna see this accident, and it's gonna be terrible. Please be careful. You've been warned. There's even more warning. Look at this content. You've been warned about it. You've been warned. Don't look now. Achievement unlocked at the edge of everything. Sorry, I know that's probably a bummer to talk about. It was awful. Really messed me up for a while. I think I'm still messed up. There's whole years of my life after the accident that feel like they just never happened. Like every time I try and remember them, it's blank. I have all these videos sitting on my channel that I don't even remember filming. It's scary. At least it hasn't been like that for a while, thank God. I've never talked about this stuff before, with anyone. Not even Tabitha? Not even Tabitha. Not for lack of trying, but I don't know. Maybe I did something wrong. There's so much I don't remember. For all I know, I was terrible to her. The two of you stare out at the road. I think the accident is probably why I got into ghost hunting. I think I just wanted to see them again. I wanted to know whether I ever even could. I never found anything, so I eventually gave up. Then last night happened. And I ran out here to see if maybe it would happen with them, too. Even if it meant seeing the crash again, or seeing them all messed up and dead. I just wanted to see them. It's been a whole day. I don't think they're coming. You reach out to her, taking her hand. It's warm against the cool night air, and the skin of her knuckles is soft. Stella turns to look at you, her sad eyes meeting yours, but a smile creeps at the corner of her mouth, her dimples beginning to crease. Her hand shifts, her callous palm fitting into yours, her grip tightening. It's strong and comforting. You can tell she feels held, and so do you. We could always wait a little longer. Stella nestles into you, her well-muscled shoulder relaxing against your body. You share each other's warmth as you both stare out at the quiet mountain road. Gretchen pants lazily in Stella's lap. Nothing happens. Nothing continues to happen for a few long minutes. I think I'm ready to throw in the towel. It's not like I would want to see them like that anyway. I guess I came out here hoping I might get a chance to say goodbye or something like that, since I didn't get the chance when they were alive. You carefully place your other arm around her shoulder and pull her close to you. You feel her chestnut hair against your cheek. She smells a little sweaty and a little sweet, the faded scent of her shampoo mingling with the natural perfume of her skin. It's nice. You take a deep breath, stroking her arm with your thumb, letting her lean into you. She rests her head against your shoulder, closing her eyes serenely. That hint of a smile spreads into a barely contained grin, then finally chases away the worry in her features. They probably somewhere better than whatever hell Charlie got trapped in. I hope you're right. I've thought a lot about what might come after, whether they're somewhere else or if they just stopped existing. I guess we've seen at least some evidence of the afterlife. I hope that means that there's a good version, too, where they're still on that long car ride listening to Dad's tapes with a place in the back seat for me when I eventually catch up to them. And then it won't matter that I never got to say goodbye. They died with your future in their minds. It's time for you to start living it. You and Stella sit in thoughtful silence for a long moment, as if both of you still expect something to happen. You're right. There's a new conviction in her voice. What the hell am I doing sitting out here waiting to see some awful memory of them? They wouldn't want me to do that. I don't think I realized how much I let that weigh me down. They were excited to bring me someplace new, but I've spent the last however many years just standing in place like I was waiting for them to come back home. They would be crushed if they knew that's how I was going to spend the rest of my life, so I'm not going to let that happen. You both stare out at the quiet mountain road. Thank you, T'Pau. I feel lighter. She straightens up, stretching her neck. Gretchen hops down from her lap, tags jingling in the quiet night air. We should probably head back, right? I haven't slept in a day. You keep the events that transpired at the clinic to yourself, at least for now. I don't suppose I could ask you to walk me home. Yeah, might as well. I'd love nothing more. You offer her your arm. She smiles, slipping hers into the crook of your elbow. She pulls you closer until the skin of your forearm brushes against her side. And this is me. Do you want to come in? Dialogue options marked romance will start a romantic arc with the character you're talking to and will log you out of romantic arcs with other characters. I guess nobody in Scarlet Hollow gets to be Polly. I was hoping you'd ask. I'd love to. I was gonna romance Kanika, but you know what? This just presented itself. Oh, achievements. This is a dating sim, right? And tear down the wall. Stella ushers you inside, a barely contained grin threatening to split into an excited smile. Let me just go take a quick shower. I've been sitting outside for a day. I need some soap. It'll just take a minute, then we can get cozy. Oh man, I would kill for a shower. Stella laughs. Yeah, I'm sure you've built up quite a lot of grime today. It's all yours when I'm done. She hurries off, leaving you and Gretchen in the living room. Gretchen immediately curls up in her bed, clearly exhausted after a long day of worrying over Stella. But before she has the chance to fall asleep, a heavy knock startles her and you. Gretchen growls. There's someone at the door. You say nothing, waiting for the moment to pass. Open the door, please, T'Pau. No. All right, playing games, I see. Fine, you can have your fun tonight. But you should consider returning to the estate tomorrow. Tabitha won't be around. Forbidden places won't be forbidden without her around to stop you, and you might be surprised at what you find. Gretchen's growls escalate into barks. Calm down, Gretchen. Were you just talking to somebody, T'Pau? Wayne stopped by to try and spook me. He's still following you. Are you sure we're safe? I hope so. Let's lock the doors and hope for the best. I guess we'll have to hope Gretchen is a good enough guard dog to keep us safe. Gretchen snarls, yapping fiercely. That's right, Gretchen. You are the most vicious little geriatric pug there is. Really, your creepy stalker is all the more reason for us to share a bed tonight. If either one of us gets scared, the other will be right there for comfort. Plus, it'll give us an advantage if he tries to sneak in. Speaking of, I had a long day. I'm about to pass out. Let's go collapse. Oh, right. But you said you wanted to shower. Sorry, head's a little fuzzy from staying up for the past day. There's fresh towels in the bathroom, and I've got some extra bathrobes. I can put your clothes through the wash so you'll be extra clean and fresh in the morning. It somehow feels like the longest and shortest shower you've ever taken. Too tired to think, too tired to process the flow of time. Stella sits outside the bathroom door and makes quiet and comforting small talk with you, and then you're done. You dry off and step into one of her extra robes. So, are you coming in? You walk by Stella and into her bedroom. She gently closes the door behind you. Sorry I didn't clean up beforehand. You can think of it as getting the authentic Stella experience. She has a tiny, narrow bed. She slips past you and lies on the bed, dressed in an oversized t-shirt. You're quick to follow. She's warm and still slightly damp from the shower, her skin fresh and flowery. She turns to look at you, smiling, dimples creasing at the edges of her mouth. You could kiss me if you wanted to. Might as well. You shift closer to her and close your eyes. The magnetic pull of anticipation rolls down your spine and across your skin. And for a moment that seems to last forever, you take in every detail of the world around you. The forested scent of her eucalyptus shampoo, and beneath it, the slightest hint of campfire. The comforting heat of soft but calloused hands against your cheek. The thunder of your heart's beating ever more quickly in unison. The tension rises and rises, a tone seemingly without peak. And then it breaks, and her lips touch yours. They're fresh and minty and soft, cool against yours, and guided by the gentleness of someone looking to hold on to the memory of tonight for a long, long time. And then she pulls you closer, tighter, and the two of you lose yourselves in each other. Aw, she's blushing. That is so cute. Eventually, the two of you break away and open your eyes, gazing at each other from opposite ends of the pillow. You drift off together, limbs entwined, exhausted and safe, and comforted. Tomorrow may bring some new horror, or it might not. But whatever happens, you'll face it together. This is the end of episode 4. Yep. We're gonna save our game now. And this is where we're saving games. So that was chapter 4 with that episode. So that was a thing that happened. Yikes. One of these days I need to play through an episode where we don't call Tabitha and her shotgun, because that's a very different story. But for now, have a good night, folks.